Welcome to StockTrak. This video will cover everything you need to know to set up and manage your class. When you set up a class on StockTrak, the first thing you do is you enter a class name. This will be the grouping that puts all of your students together with all of your class rules. Then you'll set your trading rules. This is what your students will have to obey when they're managing their portfolio. This will include things like how much cash you want them to start with, what currency they'll be trading in, what kinds of securities you want to allow. Once you're finished, you'll get a link that you can send to your students. When they click this link, they'll register directly into your class, so they don't need to look for anything and it's all automatic. Let's take a look at how you actually get it done. Once you're logged into your professor account, you can create your class by clicking Register New Class on the main menu. First, select your service level. This determines the cost of the course, the duration that your students are allowed to trade, and the total number of trades that they are allowed to make. You can also add a buy and hold portfolio to each of your student accounts for $6. Next, give your class a name. You can enter anything in here except spaces or special characters. Next, enter the number of students in your class. We use this for professors mostly who team students up with multiple students per team. This lets us know how many students are actually using the platform regardless of how many accounts are created. Next, choose your payment method. If you have it set to student payment, your students will input their credit card information or book code when they register. Instructor payment will generate an invoice that we send to your university based on the number of students in your class. Next, choose your registration start and end dates and your trading start and end dates. Your students can register any time between these dates, and trading will be open anytime between these dates. Some professors prefer to have the registration end before the trading begins. Others like to have the registration open for the first few weeks of class in case there are late registrations or students forget to create their account. After the trading end date, we freeze all student portfolios along with all values. This means that your students can still log in and see anything that they were holding before the class ended, but they cannot place any new trades and no prices will update. Next, choose your academic level, a description for your class so your students can tell one class from another, the textbook you are using for this class. The textbook is important because many publishers include coupons for StockTrak in the textbook. If your students have one of these coupons, make sure you choose the correct book so your students can enter it and get credit. The day and time of class is for reference. Your students can see this when registering to make sure they're registering into the correct section of your class in case you have more than one. Next, we'll choose the class rules. First, pick your class portfolio currency, how much cash you want to give your students to start out with, and the minimum price for buying and shorting any security. If you want to disable shorting entirely, there's a separate option for that. Next, choose whether or not you want to have class rankings by the Sharpe ratio and alpha beta. If you include these, they will be in addition to the normal portfolio value ranking. You can also allow or disallow margin trading for your students. This will let them borrow money. If you set this to no, all they can do is buy stocks using their initial cash, and they will need to sell in order to get more buying power. You're also able to set up a pre-populated starting portfolio. For example, some professors like to build a benchmark portfolio and then have their students buy and sell from that to start with instead of just giving them cash to begin with. Next, you can choose whether or not you want to allow your students to short sell and day trade. You can also create an assignment. You can also create an assignment later if you don't want to create one now. So for now, we'll just say no. Fill orders on daily volume is a liquidity parameter. This means your students can only buy this percentage of the current day's volume of any given security in their portfolio. For example, if there is a stock with a volume of 10 and you have a 100% rule, your students can buy up to 10 shares of that stock. If you set it to 20, students can buy up to 20 shares of that stock. This is most important if you're allowing options trading, since many option-specific strike prices and expiration dates may have very little volume. Next, you can choose your commission structure and what securities you want to allow your students to trade. For equities, you can have commissions by per trade, per share or contract, or as a total of the percentage of the trade. Next, enter the amount and any position limit. The position limit will tell your students they can only have up to 25% of their portfolio in any one given stock. This can go up to 200%, which means if you allow margin trading, students can buy 100% of their initial cash and 100% of their margin on a single stock. Next, choose the exchanges you want to allow. By default, the US exchanges are selected, but you can include any of the over 30 countries that we have in addition. You can also select any other security types you would like to include, such as mutual funds, bonds, which includes both corporate and treasury bonds, options, futures, future options, and spots, which includes currencies and commodities. You can also set the commission structure independently for each security type, as well as the position limit. Next, click Create Class to have your class set up. This will give you a confirmation page, and you should receive an email with the same information. This includes a link to send your students. Clicking this link will take them to the registration page for your class, where they can create their login, as well as 2 demo accounts. These demo accounts act like students for your class, so you can use these to set up benchmarks for your students. You can choose to use or to ignore these accounts. And from here, your class is fully set up and your students are ready to log in and trade. Once your students are in your class and trading, there's also several other tools throughout the site that they can use to help get a better experience and prepare for the job market after graduation. Our Quotes and Research tool is a professional grade research tool that your students can use for any investment research they need to do on the platform. This includes historical prices, detailed quote information, options chains, indices and market data, finding stocks by specific sectors, interactive charts, and much, much more. We also have a Career Center, which has over 500,000 jobs available for your students. This includes both jobs and internships that they can apply for before they graduate. The Career Center contains job postings, which come from 3 different sources and has over 500,000 jobs in total, including internships and full-time jobs for fresh graduates. We also have information on different certifications, such as the Series 7, CFA, CFP, CPA, and much more. So if your students are looking for a way to get a certification to help their job prospects, this is the first place to look. Our Job Search Tips section includes ways for them to optimize their applications with keywords, how to sit and win at job interviews, and much, much more. Students also have a perpetual practice portfolio that's outside of your class, so even after your class ends, your students can continue practicing and learning, getting investment experience to prepare them for the job market and their own personal finances and investments in the future. We also have some more tools for professors. We give all professors live chat and phone support. You can find the live support at the bottom right of most pages, and if you need to contact us, you can find our toll-free number under Contact Us on the main menu. You can also contact us by email, so if you have a bigger project that might take more than 10 minutes to fix, giving us all the details by email might be the fastest way to do it because it helps our support team see everything all in one place. We also have an archive of class project ideas, so if you're using StockTrak for the first time and you're not exactly sure what kind of project to give your students, check out our archive to see over 30 ideas submitted from professors around the world in a variety of subject areas. We also have a change log, so if you're not using StockTrak for the first time, but you want to see what's changed since the last time we were here, check out the change log to see the complete list of all the new features and changes that we've been adding over the last several years.